It is the ultimate test to find out which one of my son's diecast cars is the best in his box. It is the Diecast Cup. 100 cars need to be narrowed down to just 16 through Diecast Cup qualifying. There will be 4 events where cars will get a chance to earn 100 points for finishing in first place, 99 for second place, and so forth. There you see the armored vehicle carrying the $1 billion prize that will go to the winner of the Diecast Cup. Of course, safety is always first. There you see our qualified professionals who will be on hand for every event. The first of which is the long jump. Cars will shoot down the ski jump and see how far they can go. They get just one jump to see how far they can fly through the air. The first of the 4 domains being tested here is jumping ability. When kids play with diecast cars, they want them to be able to jump, and that is what we are testing in the first event, of course. Rolling counts, it's wherever the car stops, that counts as their jump. The way all these qualifying events work is the first place car at the end of the event gets 100 points, second place gets 99, all the way down to 100th place, still getting 1 measly point. At the end of the 4 qualifying events, the 16 cars with the most qualifying points advance to the Diecast Cup, which will consist of 8 events. At the end of all 100 cars jumping, Fandango got 100 points by finishing first place and jumping 18.4 feet. The second domain we tested in event number 2 was speed. When kids play with diecast cars, they want them to go fast. So we shot these cars down a 26-foot ramp and measured their average speed. They got 2 runs and they got to keep their best run and compare those scores. After sending all 100 cars down the ramp, our top qualifier was the Mont Racer, who averaged 9.91 miles per hour during his run. Some kids like to crash their cars, so in the third domain we test power. Cars went down this short ramp, they hit the block to see how far they could push it. They got 2 runs to push that car as far down the track as they could. As you can see, I did not move the block after the first run, you just leave it right where it is. And then we send the car back down the ramp to see how far they could move the block. After this run, Joe Cool was tested for concussion-like symptoms. Here you see some slow motion action of the cars impacting that Jenga block and pushing it as far as they could. If they hit it twice, good for them. Their run is not over until the block and the car stop moving. After this run, the Chevy Chevelle SS was tested for concussion-like symptoms after the hard impact. Here you see the Protome Energy car on his first and second run. He has emerged as one of the favorites in this entire event. He ended up pushing his block 128 1/8 inches and finishing in 6th place in this event. The Weiss brothers ends up winning this event by pushing the block 160 inches, 15 inches further than the next closest car. As we go into the final event here, I have lined up the cars in order of their qualifying points right now. As you see here, these are the top ranked cars. Their positions do seem pretty safe as long as they don't have a terrible event. As we get further down the road, these are the cars that are fighting for those final 16 spots in the Diecast Cup. There you see the Dodge Viper, the Gumball number 4, and the Mont Racer in the 16th spot. That little gap there shows you the 17th spot and all the cars that are on the bubble fighting for those final spots in the Cup. And they will do it in the most difficult event in all of qualifying. They will go down the giant ski jump, which is especially steep for this event, and try and get through 3 loops with a kicker loop in the middle. After they make it through the 3 loops, we have a little bit more track just to separate the times of the cars, but it's all about making those 3 loops. The cars that can make it through all 3 loops successfully, and we only expect about 10 of them, those cars will be ranked first. So if 10 cars make it, they will be ranked 1 through 10 based on their speed. All the cars that do not make it will go to a double loop, and the cars that can't make the double loop will go to a single loop. There you see the only car that made it all the way through. Other cars made it through 3 loops, didn't make it all the way down the track, but they will be ranked ahead of any cars that can't make it through the 2 loops. We saved our main contenders for last, and I can tell you that if they make it through the triple loop, they will advance to the Diecast Cup. But as you see here, our top 3 leaders in the qualified points did not make it through the triple loop. Fandango, however, was the first of our contenders to make it all the way through and secure his spot in the Diecast Cup. As you see this awesome slow motion replay, watch on the third loop, he actually comes off the track but somehow saves it and rides his way to glory and qualifies for the Diecast Cup. There you see there, he actually did not finish, but they will be ranked based off of how far down the track they get. Boulevard Bruiser failed to make it through the 3 jumps. Ballistic failed as well. You see a lot of them really struggling to get to that third and final loop. All these cars have to do is make it through the 3 loops, and that'll be enough to rank them high enough in this event to qualify them for the Diecast Cup. One car after another could take the cup. All they had to do was make it, but fail after fail after fail. None of them can do it. Only one more of our contenders actually made it through the triple loop. As you watch here, these cars again just keep failing. Really mostly struggling on that third loop. Until finally here comes the Mont Racer, shooting through the 3 loops and into the hearts of America, not only to win this event, but also to advance to the Diecast Cup and get a chance at that $1 billion prize. So after the triple loop, we moved to 2 loops. Again, all the cars that could not make the 3 loops got to try the 2 loops. Once again, our top 3 qualifiers struggled on even the double loop, which was a big surprise. They'll go to a single loop to try and qualify. Here's the Boulevard Bruiser. He makes the 2 loops. That gets him in to the Diecast Cup. He also, like Fandango, came off the track, but somehow made it. Actually, that's Silver Bullet that came off the track and somehow made it. There you see Ballistic almost making it, but not quite. The Honda Civic CR cannot make it. The Clear Speeder, however, makes it, and once again, he advances to the cup by getting in the top 16 of the points. Rogue Hog is another car that made it through the double loop. And finally, we move it down to 1 loop. It was make or break for our top 3 qualifiers. If they make it through the triple loop, they would salvage enough points to get in. If they do not, they would not get enough points and they would not qualify for the cup. Wise Brothers is up first. And he clears it. He's in. There we go. Lexus Special Edition comes up next. The hopes and dreams of a nation riding on his shoulders, and he does it. And finally, Proton Energy, one of the favorites to win the $1 billion prize, but he has to clear this loop if he wants to stay alive. Oh, and he does it too. Look at that. Our top 3 qualifiers mess with the fans, but eventually they all make it in to the Diecast Cup. As stated earlier, the Mont Racer cleared all 3 loops and did it in the fastest time, so he wins the 100 points. And here you see the 16 cars that qualified for the Cup. They received the most qualifying points, and they will advance to the 8 events to determine the Diecast Cup champion and the winner of $1 billion. The cars that did not qualify go back into general population. They go into my son's toy box, where they are subject to being played with by a 2-year-old. The cars that did qualify get to go into this box that my son is not able to open yet, where they will be nice and safe and comfortable. Watch our next video to get a rundown of the lineup for the Diecast Cup and meet all 16 cars that qualified.